I was fine one day, and then the next day I woke up and I became afraid of everything. I couldn't leave my home. I was hyperventilating. I couldn't go outside without having a panic attack. I kind of felt like I was underwater all of the time. My earliest memory of her having her mental illness was probably when we first moved into our house here in Springfield. It was not very far from home, probably not even 2 miles. We were trying to get over there, and she started having her breathing problems, hyperventilating and things like that, and it was tough to watch.
I mean, I felt fine with it because I grew up with it. I mean, I didn't really know it was a thing until I was older. I was probably like 10. And I finally figured out, oh, my mom doesn't get to do a lot of stuff.
Looking back, I noticed it more. But at the time, you don't know. It's just like, oh, I don't feel good, I don't feel like doing this. As it got worse and she could go and do less and less, it became more apparent that something bigger was going on.
During the 14 years that I was sick, I missed out on every aspect of life. Huge milestones for my kids and with my husband. Shane did all of the grocery shopping and the doctor's appointments for the kids, and I felt like I was a burden to my family. A lot of times I would try and talk to my aunts and uncles and tell them, what I was experiencing, and I think for them they felt like it was a character flaw and that my depression was a behavior issue. It was hard for me then from that point on to talk to them about the issues I was having because I felt so much judgment.
It was life, I mean, it's all we knew. It was hard. There were a lot of bad times, but there were still good times. I mean, we still did things, we just did them at home, and we did them different than everybody else. But we still were a family, we still did things, we still cared, we still had activities. That was just our normal.
My husband was my ultimate rock. He never judged me, and like I said, he took care of everything. My kids, I really felt like I let my kids down, and that was the hardest thing, I think, to look at my kids and tell them, I can't do this with you, and try and explain to them why.
She was always there for me spiritually, I knew that, but things like with graduation and my pageants and things like that, she wasn't there. I knew she was there in spirit.
Yeah, I can remember when I come home from school and she'd just be laying in bed, and I just come home, do homework, and then I just watch TV.
The depression really got bad. There were points that she couldn't get herself out of bed. And not understanding what was going on, I was just like, okay, well, she's just going to lay in bed today. But there were points when, she was very suicidal. There was one particular instance that was the rock bottom, and I mean, she was done. She was, on the ground, balled up. I have no purpose, I have no meaning, why am I here? This is just torturous. And she was ready to commit suicide. And through the grace of God, she made it through that. But that's scary, and for me as a spouse, I wasn't trained how to deal with that. I didn't have the words to deal with that.
I couldn't find any resources available for people that had agoraphobia. I researched it constantly. There were some online CDs that I did, there were some online books that I did. Again, it was hard for me because I couldn't leave my home to go to counseling. So a lot of the things I did was on my own.
The first step was understanding what was going on. That this wasn't just her. People have this, and this is a hereditary thing, and it's a chemical thing, and it's a real thing. And coming to grips with what was going on, and then talking with physicians, getting treatment options and medication, and that was one of her phobias, was taking medication.
I did little things like licked Lexapro for a week because I was convinced I was going to have an allergic reaction. After I saw that it wouldn't do anything to me, I ended up taking the Lexapro, and I think that my mindset kind of shifted, and I realized that the side effects that I was experiencing from an untreated mental illness were far worse than the side effects I would experience from any medication. I gradually started getting out a little bit more. I went to church, which was a huge thing for me. Our church is very structured, and it made me feel safe. Not only the medication, but my faith, the therapy, all of that worked together for my recovery.
The thing that really stuck out that she said to me was she couldn't focus on the entire staircase. She had to focus on one step at a time. And I think that's the key. I'm proud of how hard she fought and the road that she's taken, and we wouldn't be the people we are without going down this path, so it was for a purpose.
I'm the Director of Business Development and Marketing here at NAMI. When I was sick, I made a promise to myself that I would help others suffering from mental illness. So when I got better, I came up to NAMI and did some volunteer work, and then ended up getting hired for a position up here.
You know, it's important for the work that Stephanie does is reaching out and talking to people that have this. And with her story and sharing her story, people can see that this is normal. We all have those bad days and those dark thoughts. It's just some people can't control them and they're overwhelming. The resources are out there like NAMI and different organizations, and people that need the help can get the help. But with people like Stephanie in the community raising awareness, that's the key.
There is hope. There is always a purpose for our pain. You get so much gratification when you finally realize that your pain through your journey was God preparing you, I think, for your purpose. So I think just hold on and keep the faith.
Definitely don't judge them. I think that's the hardest thing that you can do to somebody with a mental illness. It's not easy to come out and tell people that you have a problem, and you just need to support them 100% all the way.
I just feel like I helped her because I feel like I gave her a support in a way, because we would always like push her to the finish, you know?
Life's precious. Every moment's precious, and we all have struggles, and we're all human. We're all flawed, but we all have blessings. After making it through those hard, dark days, for her to be able to be out and to help people and let them know that there is purpose in every life, and to see her now, to see her presenting this information in front of people that are struggling with the same thing, it's amazing.
Mental illness can affect anybody. I'm a mother and a daughter, a sister and a wife, and those are all things that you can see, but I think what you can't see is my mental illness, and it's important to me that people not judge me for that and see me for those other things first, because you never know what someone's going through, and I think if we can just be compassionate to others, I think that's huge.